2023, the early Rapture Doctrine heresy. Before Jesus returns, Mark 13 tells us Christians will have to endure great persecution of the Antichrist, which comes to power. Many will be imprisoned, even executed, unless they worship him. Multitudes will fall away, and only those who endure to the end in the faith and resist worshiping the beast will be saved. However, many churches in America teach rapture doctrine because the scriptures are too scary. The public does not want to endure persecution by the Antichrist, so they are taught they will escape by early rapture, the pre-tribulation rapture. In 1830, John Darby began promoting this new rapture doctrine, and there are two main deceptions taught. Deception number 1. 1 Thessalonians 4:16 through 17 is emphasized. This is the verse that says the dead rise and those who are alive are caught up in the clouds, while 2 Thessalonians 2:3 through 4 is swept under the rug and not taught. 2 Thessalonians 2:3 through 4 reads, "Let no one deceive you by any means, for that day will not come, unless the falling away comes first and the man of sin is revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God or that is worship, so that he sits as God in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God." Deception number 2. They confuse tribulation with the word wrath. They defend early rapture by quoting 1 Thessalonians 5:9. "For God did not appoint us to wrath, but to obtain salvation through our Lord Jesus Christ." The deception is they equate tribulation with God's wrath. Persecution of the Antichrist is not God's wrath. Tribulation and wrath are two different words in the Greek. For instance, Mark 13:19, "For in those days there will be tribulation, such as has not been since the beginning of creation, which God created, until this time, nor ever shall be." The word for tribulation is thalipsis, Strong's 23:47, also meaning persecution, affliction. The wrath of God, however, comes after on those who sided with the beast. The word for wrath is orge, Strong's 3709, which also means punishment, vengeance. For instance, 1 Thessalonians 5:9 reads, "For God did not appoint us to wrath, but obtained salvation through our Lord Jesus Christ." It's much clearer now. Revelation 6:17, "Fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath has come. Who is able to stand?" Wrath and tribulation are two different words. Those teaching pre-tribulation rapture confuse the two words and promote escapism from persecution. For the newcomer, however, this is an easy spot to look for when looking to see if a church group is heretical. If you spot this, move away quickly, because there will be other heresies taught there that will certainly lead you to destruction. Here is a good example. This is the statement of beliefs of a local Calvary Chapel church. This one says, A, "We believe in the pre-tribulation rapture of the church, where all believers will meet the Lord in the air and be taken out of the world prior to the tribulation that will come upon the earth." Quote, end quote. Comment: This is an easy spot for newcomers since we know pre-tribulation is false. But this church teaches other heretical doctrines. For example, marriage. Quote, "We perform marriages in accordance to the Bible, consistent with the Old and New Testament." And it lists all these verses. Comment: Jesus did not teach Old Testament statutes on marriage. His teaching is much stricter. Jesus taught marriage is for life. Should divorce happen, there is no remarriage unless one spouse dies. Notice, this church avoids Mark 10:6 through 12, Romans 7:2 through 3, and 1 Corinthians 7:10 through 11. 1 Corinthians 7:10 through 11 is a direct command from Jesus. Now to the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord. A wife is not to depart from her husband, but even if she does depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband, and a husband is not to divorce his wife. Application. A neighbor living a few houses down divorced his wife and was announcing his getting together with his high school sweetheart. He was shocked to learn about Mark 10, 1 Corinthians 7:10 through 11, Romans 7:2 through 3. He attended this church and insisted not to worry about him. 1 Corinthians 6:9 warns adulterers will not enter the kingdom. You see, a newcomer who spots the pre-tribulation heresy right away can leave the group and be out of danger. The marriage doctrine of this church is harder to spot because of what is not being taught. They avoid the 1 Corinthians 7:10, Romans 7:2 through 3 scriptures, which clarify that marriage is for life. Divorcing your spouse and marrying somebody else is adulterous marriage. Adulterers will not enter the kingdom. A church group performing adulterous marriages will certainly put people on the path to destruction. So look for the rapture heresy doctrine. It's an easy spot because it obviously contradicts Jesus. If you spot it, leave, because they're probably teaching other heresies which will ensure your destruction. Jesus bless you.